Welcome back to another Valorant video. I hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. Now, for today's video, I wanted to talk about some of the things that I have done that may have negatively impacted how I am today. And firstly, I want to start by talking about what I used to think being healthy meant, and that was just going to the gym. That's it. I thought if you worked out a few times a week, that you were doing better than 90% of people. But over the past couple of years, I've realized that health is way more complicated than that. It's not only how much you sleep, but what you eat, how often you move your body, how much time you're spending staring at a screen, how stressed you are, and even the way that you talk to yourself. And the weird thing is, you don't really notice yourself getting unhealthy. Nobody wakes up one morning and suddenly feels different. It happens at such a slow pace that eventually you're just going to adapt to it. For example, you may start sleeping less, you may start ordering food a little more, going outside a little less, scrolling your phone a little longer, and you tell yourself that today is just the exception. Then today turns into weeks, then months, and before you know it, you're tired all the time. You have no motivation, and you can't even remember the last time that you ate, the last time you had a full night's rest, and even sometimes the last time you really felt energized. And I know that I've been there, because in my life, there was a point where staying up until 2 or 3 in the morning felt so normal that I never really realized that it was doing more harm than good. And I would tell myself that I was just relaxing after a long day, but in reality, I hadn't really done anything besides doom scrolling or playing one more game that would oftentimes usually just end up turning into more than one game. And then I would wake up exhausted, grab whatever food was easiest at the time, and wonder why I never really felt like doing anything productive. And it was all just a big cycle that I kept repeating without even realizing. And funnily enough, the crazy part is that none of these habits seemed like a big deal on their own. Sleeping late doesn't typically mean the end of the world, and fast food every once in a while is fine. But once those every once in a whiles become a daily thing, then the problem starts to show, and they really start changing how you feel. But one thing that made me realize these problems was just comparing myself to other people that I'd seen online that had much better daily routines than I had. And I won't really say that I have the best sleep schedule of all time, because it's not good, but it could be better. But when I see some of the people on TikTok, for example, that are waking up at 6 in the morning, going to the gym and eating perfectly, I wonder if maybe I could do the same thing. But with how I live my mornings already, I haven't really been able to convince myself that some of these very good things that can happen in the morning aren't really applicable to my own life, because I'm so used to doing these other things. And it makes me feel like I'm constantly behind. But eventually I realized that there is really no competition between me and those people, because I don't know them and they don't know me. And my only real competition is myself. And that seriously changed everything. Instead of trying to become somebody that I wasn't, I started focusing on one small improvement at a time every single day. Like going to bed earlier, or drinking more water, taking a walk instead of sitting at my desk, and cooking instead of ordering food. And none of those things are exciting, and nobody makes a TikTok about drinking an extra bottle of water. But all of those tiny decisions that I started making seriously started adding up. And that's kind of what this video is about. Not becoming perfect, but recognizing the little habits that you can make that really make you feel worse, and replacing them with habits that make your life a little easier. Because I've learned that your health isn't really built by one huge decision, but built by hundreds of small ones that nobody else sees. And that's just the eventual realization that most people have to come to realize that they are doing good for themselves. So I started thinking that if I actually wanted to feel better, where do I start? Because everyone online has some crazy morning routine, but I think that most of us just need to get the basics. And I think that one of the biggest things that I've realized is that time is honestly the most valuable thing we have. Because money comes back, your rank comes back after losing a Valorant game, and even if you fail at something, you'll usually end up getting another chance. But you never get today back. And I used to waste so much time telling myself that I'll do something tomorrow, that tomorrow became my favorite word. Homework would be pushed off till tomorrow. Working out would be pushed off till tomorrow. And cleaning my room definitely was pushed off till tomorrow. The problem is, tomorrow keeps moving. One day turns into a week would probably turn into months, and before I knew it, I was wondering where half my year went, purely because I wasn't focusing on my time. And even if I only spend 20 minutes doing something productive, that's still 20 minutes of my day that I didn't waste. So if there's one thing that you guys take from this segment, is that progress, no matter how big or small, is still progress. And you guys need to glorify that as much as you can. Now, another thing that I seriously underestimated is sleep. I thought that sleeping for 4 or 5 hours was enough for me, but it wasn't. And I thought that doing that made me cool, but nobody cares. All it did was make me tired, and I couldn't focus during the day. I got irritated very easily, and I would eat junk and drink nothing, basically, all because I thought that it was cool. And my big solution to staying awake during the day, because I lost that sleep, was just energy drinks and caffeine, and it became an endless cycle. Now I'm trying to get more sleep, not because it's fun, but because literally everything feels easier when I get that rest. And this may sound boring, but seriously, drink water. I used to drink almost nothing except soda and energy drinks. Then I'd wonder why I always had headaches, or why my body and myself always felt off. But now, every single time I get to my desk, I have my water bottle with me, because I've realized how important having that hydration of water is to your daily practice. Do I still forget to drink it? Yes, but when I actually stay hydrated, I feel more awake. And it's one of those habits that's almost too simple to miss. And food-wise, I'm not gonna sit and pretend that I eat chicken, rice, and broccoli all day, because I don't. If someone offers me a pizza, I'm probably going to eat the pizza. But I did realize that I don't have to eat perfectly. I just have to eat a little better than I'm used to. And health isn't ruined by one bad meal. It's ruined by the repetition of constantly eating those bad meals. It's built by the choices that you make most of the time, and the mindset made eating healthier way less stressful. For some reason, The idea of moving your body and getting the exercise you need makes people think that you have to become some kind of gym influencer, which just isn't the case, which is just kind of insane because some of those people that take exercise so seriously make it seem like if you're not waking up at like 5 in the morning and benching a ton of weight, you're failing. And that's just ridiculous because sometimes going for a walk is enough. Sometimes doing 10 push-ups is enough. The goal isn't to impress people. The goal is to just stop feeling like a potato. Even standing up every hour while playing your game makes a difference. And I think the hardest mental battle was definitely my phone, because used to, I would just pick it up to answer one notification, and then I've lost 30 minutes of my day because I get sucked into my phone doing something I didn't plan on doing. And it's kind of scary because social media is fun, but after you realize how much time you've wasted, it kind of drives you insane. Because there's always that realization that someone has more subscribers than me, and someone has a better setup than me, and somebody literally 2 years older than me. I'm 16, by the way. Somebody 2 years older than me is buying their own house. Meanwhile, my thoughts are always on the idea of, did I eat lunch today? Because I forget that a lot. And eventually, I stopped trying to catch up with everyone else because the only person I really want to be is the version of myself from last year. If I'm improving, even a little bit, that's good, and I'm happy. So, as a whole, I don't think anybody suddenly becomes healthy overnight, but that's what I used to believe, because I'd wait until Monday, or next month, or New Year's, thinking that that was when I'd finally change everything. But honestly, the biggest improvements in my life came from doing really boring things consistently. Sleeping a little more, drinking more water, going outside, and eating a little better. There was also the problem of spending too much time on my phone, which I kind of turned down a little bit. But none of those things are exciting enough to go viral. But together, they've made me feel like a completely different person. And I'm still figuring it out. I'm definitely not perfect because I still stay up too late sometimes. I still eat way too much junk food. And I still spend longer on TikTok than I'd like to admit. But I think that's okay. Because the main goal isn't really perfection. It's just becoming a little better than I was yesterday. And honestly, I think that's enough. Now, before I do end today's video, I just want to leave you guys with one thing that has been on my mind a whole lot recently. Please, 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 do not forget to treat yourself with the same respect that you would give somebody you actually care about. And I know it's kind of cheesy, but seriously, think about it. Let's say one of your friends came up to you and they said that they stayed up until 4 in the morning, barely ate anything, drank almost no water, and have been calling themselves a failure all week. You wouldn't tell them to keep doing it. You would tell them to get sleep. You would tell them to eat, drink water, and take a break. Just go outside for a little bit maybe. And maybe even remind them that one bad week doesn't define who you are. So why should it be so easy for us to give that advice to other people, but so hard to follow it ourselves? I think a lot of us are way harder on ourselves than we'd ever be to anyone else, because we'll make one mistake and suddenly act like everything is falling apart. We skip one workout and think, well, I already messed up. We stay up too late one night and decide our sleep schedule was ruined forever. We eat one unhealthy meal and convince ourselves that there's no point in trying anymore. But that's not how life works. Nobody gets everything right every single day. And honestly, if that's the standard that you're holding yourself to, you're setting yourself up to be disappointed. And I think that social media has made this narrative far worse than it should be. You scroll for 5 minutes and it feels like everyone else has their life completely together. Somebody's waking up at 5 in the morning, and meanwhile, you're just trying to remember if you drink any water. It's easy to feel like you're behind, because I felt that way too. At the end of the day, even if your progress feels slow, if you're still figuring things out, and if today wasn't even your best day, the fact that you're still here trying to improve means you're moving in the right direction. So keep going. And until next time, peace out.